Sports HQ alongside Joe Musso. I am Hakeem Dermish. Wild card races remain tight in Major League Baseball. Coming up, we'll go around the bigs. We're kicking off with a first for the first overall pick.
That's it. No losses, only lessons at this point in the season. For Fernando Mendoza, every rep is an opportunity. Learning and earning the top pick, trying to get up to speed for the silver and black. It was a case study in what 17-point deficit to take down the Texans 22-20. Taking a look at some of your key performers. One drive for Stroud, a handful for Mendoza. Woody Marks kept those chains moving early as well. We now say hello to CBS NFL analyst Emory Hunt, here to break down what we saw and some of what we will see here in week 2 of the preseason. Mistakes are going to be made, Emory, at this point, but maybe more can be learned about a player or the makeup of a player at this point in the way that they respond. What did you make of the way that our first overall pick here in Fernando Mendoza responded to that early pick-6?
I thought he handled it better than Clint Kubiak did, because Kubiak called run plays after the interception. But when he allowed Mendoza to get back out there and throw again, he was throwing with fearlessness and he was throwing strikes down the field. He had no ill effects of the previous pick-6. So you like that he has that short memory, because he went right back out there when he was allowed to throw the football and was throwing down the field. Wasn't trying to be safe. He didn't take some ill-advised sacks because he was holding the football. I just like that he went right back at it and looked like, to be completely honest, Joe, he looked like the Fernando Mendoza we saw at Indiana.
Undeterred by some of the struggle, and ultimately the team finds success thanks to, as you can see, big numbers here out of Aiden O'Connell. His future, we will see what that holds either there in Vegas or elsewhere. It was one drive only for Coleridge, Bernard, Stroud, your guy CJ, but in a word, it was sharp, Emory. Woody Marks kept those chains moving. Offense looked to be in rhythm, operating on time. What'd you make of the limited sample size for CJ?
If that's the offense, I like the way the offense looks. I even like the fact that he went off script a few plays. It looked like he was going for a scramble, then found the tight end sitting in a dead spot of the zone and dumped it off to him, and he was able to get the first down. But I like the fact that they are running the football, because we only saw that with Woody Marks. We didn't see Montgomery out there as well. So when you have that 1-2 punch going, it allows CJ Stroud to operate off play action. I said this earlier on HQ. It was like, well, if we go back to when they had Joe Mixon, this offense looked completely better. And when they didn't have Mixon, we saw what that looked like the last couple of seasons. So I feel like with a run game, a stable run game, it can overcompensate for some of the injuries that they're having right now at wide receiver. So I like what I saw from the Houston Texans, albeit in the short, small sample size.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a true 1-2 there with Marks and Montgomery sort of splitting the load. We'll see to what degree. Let's take a look now at some preseason week 2 games of note. Jets and the Steelers going up. The Steelers, this will be a nice case study on the quarterback position there, with the young talent being focused upon. Panthers and Jags head-to-head as well. Packers and Broncos, it's a robust Friday schedule, and you will see Bo Nix in that orange. Emory, last time we saw Bo Nix, he was walking off a field thinking that he was heading to an AFC title game. Instead, he was heading into surgery for a broken ankle. He's back in action Friday, 200 and some days removed from surgery and then another procedure to get that ankle cleaned up of bone spurs. His success, Emory, in his first 2 seasons came largely by moving the pocket. I don't want to discredit what he did in the pocket, but sometimes shifting that pocket to the arm side did him a lot of good. Do you expect training wheels early on?
Yeah, and I expect him to show that he's recovered from what we saw in regards to the injury, because you want to see him get back out there and be Bo Nix, not to the full extent of being Bo Nix in terms of constantly going outside the pocket, creating extended plays. You do want to see a little bit more of your boots and waggles early on, one series, to get him out there on the move. And you want to see him start the game efficiently. That's the biggest thing we've always talked about with him, Joe. Last year, hey, Bo Nix is great in the fourth quarter. He's great when they need him to step up big in these clutch moments. But can he start the game like he tends to finish games? If he can get out there on that opening drive and march them down the field, then yeah, we've seen enough of Bo Nix. But if he can't, I do want to see him get out there on a move, throw on a run, show that he's recovered some from that ankle, and I think that's the road to mental recovery for Bo Nix moving forward.
Yeah, just get those feet back under you. But if we're measuring by wins and losses, none better in NFL history than Bo Nix and our colleague Russell Wilson. Emory, Steelers-Jets also on tap Friday. Mike McCarthy going to get an extended look at the race for QB2, or so we think. Will Howard's going to start. Drew Aller's going to follow. No Mason Rudolph on Friday. And that's sort of where my question's at. Is this a race for QB2? How does the veteran Rudolph factor into the broader equation at quarterback this year?
You know, I think Rudolph's job is safe, to be completely honest, but I do feel like this is a race for not only QB3, but who could be that potential quarterback of the future. Both guys could be the answer. So I like the fact that they're both getting a half, because you want to see Will Howard go out there and play consistent football. Just like we talked about Bo Nix and how he was able to turn it on in the fourth quarter. We saw Will Howard turn it on in that 2-minute drill, but you want to see him flatline his play prior to that. And for Drew Aller, you want to see him be a little bit more consistent in the layups. And I'm talking about there were 2 key plays, and it showed you the polar opposite reaction and outcomes. Because on one play toward the end zone, he was trying to hit Riley Nowakowski, the fullback, and it was an easy throw in the flat. He missed it. He threw it behind him. Fullback just dropped it. Came back on another drive and hit Caden Weigent on the same play on the opposite side and got the touchdown. So you want to see him flatline that play, not going for, the big home run that he was able to connect on throughout the game. So I want to see his consistency in his throws and the layups flatline, and I want to see Will Howard's play flatline across the entirety of the time he's in the game.
But what you're telling me, and I just want to parse out the beginning of that statement, there's not one, but 2 quarterbacks in Pittsburgh that's keeping us from figuring out the future. Not one. There are 2 guys in front of what
There's
might
2.
be the future will arrive in the present someday there in the Steel City. We'll see if that day is Friday. We'll enjoy those 2 youngsters while they are on field. Joint practices between the Bears and the Bengals. Emory, and Existential Burrow has entered the chat, if I may offer, the star QB, telling reporters, I'm trying to put it out. I'm trying to put it out in the world. Excuse me. He's doing a bit of manifesting. I'm trying to manifest it. I'm trying to show our guys the urgency that I have, that I want us to have as an organization to go make it happen. You can keep pushing it down the road, or you can talk about it now and say, this is the year. I'm tired of saying next year, next year, next year. This is it. So I ask you, Emory Hunt, what you make of those sorts of statements. I know Joe Burrow does often present as a thoughtful character. He lets us into what's going on in his mind, and he's thinking championship right now.
A part of me feels like he made that quote while making that same face that was in the graphic. Like, I felt like it was just kind of bland. It came off like someone at a New Year's Eve party saying, "New year, new me. This is going to be my year." Like, all right, bro, you've been saying the same thing for 10 years. I need to go out there and see those guys actually do it. And we'll know that that he means what he says if he goes out there in week 1 of the regular season and they just dominate, not, high flying scoring and giving up a lot of points on defense. I want to see the Bengals straight dominate. And I think that's when I can say, okay, Joe Burrow and his football team is dead serious on getting to the Super Bowl and winning it this time. Because right now it just sounds like he's just saying things because it's the right thing to say. And it just didn't seem like he meant it. Even though I know he means it, just don't feel it right now. I got to see it first before I trust what he's out there saying.
I think Burrow's always feeling that, but now he's in a role where he's got to pull this group together and get them to feel those same things. Felt like an effort in that. You should have seen my face trying to read that statement from Burrow. We'll get the sound next time. Emory,
you didn't feel it, Joe. You wasn't feeling it. You were just saying it. You didn't feel it.
I wasn't believing the quote. It wasn't my quote. From one